Hello and welcome, my name is Piera and today I'm here with my top 5 female protagonists. One of my favorite things in any book is a female protagonist. My general sort of kink for female protagonists, they're pretty questionable and it really makes me consider how that reflects on me. Today I thought I would show you guys my top 5 female protagonists in books. Please be aware that this video may contain spoilers for the 5 book series that I will mention. I will try to limit them, but please watch this video with an understanding that if you haven't read these 4 series, which if you were on my channel you probably have, but just to be safe. Be aware. Some of them you probably already know because it's no secret that I talk about them 24/7 and if they were alive would leave my husband for them. Husband? Ooh, wow, fiance, let's not get carried away there, Piera. Anyway. Starting from 5 to 1, here are my top 5 favorite female protagonists. What a mouthful. In at number 5 I have Katniss Everdeen from the Hunger Games trilogy, and let me explain you a thing before you go crucifying me. Katniss was one of the first female YA protagonists that I read, and I really liked reading from her point of view. I really liked her narrative. There's a lot of different things that I liked about Katniss. Number 1 was, when I read this, the first thing that I really appreciated was the fact that it's not about romance. Katniss's first and foremost thoughts aren't really about a boy. Obviously you've got Peter and Gale and obviously you've got that whole thing, but her general driving force to begin with was survival. Which is, being 16 and reading that is something that you want to read about more than, oh, I love a boy. And looking back at the Hunger Games now, I'm starting to wonder if Katniss wasn't maybe asexual or aromantic or something that just, I don't remember her seeming overly into the idea of romance, whether that was with Peter or with Gale. Both of the romances that she kind of had there were very much based on survival for me, and I really dug that. She was also one of the first protagonists that I found to be, that kind of young, strong female that you wanted to read about when you were also 16. And obviously being the dystopian genre, it's not contemporary, so me trying to escape my 16-year-old life was going into horrible places and being a kick-ass female and saving the world. Which is why I enjoyed Katniss so much when I read her, and when I think of my favorite female protagonists, she's in the top maybe 6 or 7. In comparison to the other 4, they're on completely different levels now. This is just a protagonist that I found really resonated with me when I read it, and then going back and reading it, watching the films, she still really has a place within me. That's kind of weird. In saying that she's not one of my top 3 favorites would defend with my life, but I still really enjoyed the effect that this book had on me when I picked it up and now. So that's why Katniss made my top 5. Now I'm gonna get into my top 4, and these women are women that I would protect with my life. These are women that if they were real, I would leave my partner for. These are women that I model myself after. These are women that I admire, that I look up to, that often, they do pretty questionable shit. They're all murderers. But that's not my point. The point is, they're fucking badass. And you can see my reoccurring theme with these top 4. So let's get into it. And number 4 is Nona Grey from Red Sister by Mark Lawrence. Now this is a book I picked up last year and had no idea what to expect. I didn't know anything about Mark Lawrence's writing style, I didn't know anything about how he wrote his female characters. I fell in love instantly with Nona. Nona reminds me of an alternate universe Mia Corvair. But the thing that I love about Nona so much is her unwavering loyalty. That's the thing that gets me with Nona. In this book, there's no romance. And so Nona, her driving force, apart from, obviously survival and staying alive, is to ensure that the people that she cares about, her friends and the people that she loves, stay alive and healthy and well. Which doesn't always go well for them, or Nona, but that's what I loved so much about Red Sister. Another thing that I love about Nona is her anger and her rage is a huge part of where she draws her power from. She doesn't just have these abilities, they don't just come without a prize. Her rage and the anger that fuels her is a huge driving force. And granted, if you've read Red Sister and you know what Nona's been through, you understand it, but little Nona Grey is just the purest child that I have ever met. And she's still a child. She's still, I think in this book she's 12 or 10, 11, maybe 8, who knows. If this was my child, I would be very proud of her. And in book 2, we see obviously a lot more of Nona's growth, how she deals with, deaths of friends that she loves, how she deals with these new adversities, and how she deals with these new villains, and how her ultimate goal is just, there are so many things getting in the way of it, and how she still proceeds to keep on keeping on. It's absolutely phenomenal, and this is a book I would highly recommend. Number 3 on my list is Victra from the Red Rising trilogy, but we first meet her in Golden Sun. Now, Victra is who I want to be when I grow up. Victra is this no bullshit, blunt, honest, kick-ass female that I want to be. She's sexy and she knows it. She's smart and she knows it. She's dangerous and she knows it. And one thing that she values above all else is loyalty. She is incredibly loyal. I have a running theme here. She is incredibly loyal to the people that she loves, and to Darrow especially. There's a moment in the trilogy in which, you know, we think there's maybe a romance going on, like Victra admits her feelings to Darrow. Darrow obviously doesn't completely reciprocate, but she doesn't get all butthurt over it. She's like, alright, well, you're lost. And then she just continues to be a fucking badass. And so her, like, final lines in this book specifically broke my heart, because like at that point you expected her to switch. You expected her to be on the bad side. You expected her to become the villain. And she's just so unwaveringly loyal, and deep down, like, she wants to do good. She wants to be a good person, but she feels like she's tainted. Like, her blood and like her family and her past and her history has got everyone convinced that she's this monster, that she's this horrible snake that you can't trust. And just for her to completely break that and be like, no, I'm a good person, I'm gonna do good things, I'm gonna be there for my friends, I'm gonna fight for what's right, is the reason that I love Victra with all of my heart. And some days when I'm feeling really bad and shitty, I pretend to be Victra. And by that I mean I sit on my couch and I imagine what it would be like to go to the gym and be a beefy, sexy, muscular, 6'4" gold. Basically. It's not gonna happen, but a girl can dream. Number 2. Now these top 2 I find really hard to discern. One day I wake up and I love one more, the other I love the next day more, and ultimately in a perfect world I would be them and be with them both. So let's just, if you ever picture me, I want you to picture this character and the next character on either side of me, because these two characters I find make up a large portion of my personality, which is why I think I love them so much. What does that say about me? Who knows? In at number 2 is Miss Delilah Bard from the Shades of Magic trilogy by V.E. Schwab. The first time we meet Delilah, she's robbed someone. The second time we meet Delilah, she's robbed someone again. And I love that. I love that she's just no bullshit. Like, V.E. Schwab sets her up as this questionable character, and she's questionable as shit, and she continues to do questionable things throughout the entire series regardless, because who is Delilah Bard's number 1? Delilah Bard. Even though there's a romance in the book, Delilah Bard is still number 1 to Delilah Bard, and that's what I appreciate in a woman. She's ballsy, she's very selfish, she's incredibly self-centered, and sometimes she's a little stupid. That's my girl. What drives Lila is adventure. She wants to live a life that is better than the life that she is currently living, and she knows that there is more to it. And that's something that I find I really need on like dark days, the ability to keep going even when everything seems really dark. Just that ability to think forward and think there is something more than this, like something more is coming. I have to either grab it by its balls or I have to wait and be patient. Like, that's a thing that I really appreciate about Lila. Terrible things happen and she doesn't just go, ah, fuck it. She goes, fuck that, and continues. And that's a thing I really like. Another thing I really like about Lila, which I don't really see much of in the books that I have been reading, is her kind of androgynous dress style. That's the thing that I am also pretty, I also do. Not obviously to the extent, would do to the extent if I had baller coats like Lila does, but in terms of she's not overly feminine and she's not overly masculine, but if she's leaning on the spectrum, it's a little, you know, a little more towards the masculine side, which I also personally lean towards. There's nothing I love more than like a sturdy set of boots and pants. Look, Lila does spend a lot of time doing dumb shit, and you're like, Lila, why? And she's like, Lila, yes. And you're like, Lila, no. And she's like, Lila, I've already done it. And you're just kind of like, ugh, girl, what are you doing? But that's one thing I like about her. Like, she does a lot of shit, but it's the shit that I'm willing to forgive because I love her. And now, if you haven't already guessed it, I'm going to introduce you to my number 1 favorite female protagonist. This female protagonist crept up on me. She crept up on me, she held me by the throat with a knife to it and was like, you will love me and I will become part of you. You have no choice. And that is 100% what happened. This is a character that I relate to the most. Minus, obviously, like the supernatural abilities and the killing of people, but the general premise of the character is something that I don't know, I read it a few times, and I was like, fuck, that's me in a fantasy world. And if it's not incredibly obvious of which character that is, it's Mia Corvair from J. Kristoff's Nevernight. Now, Mia Corvair is this goddess of a woman. She is witty, she's funny, she's clever, she's brutal, she's gentle in the heart. I like to consider Mia Corvair as a picnic bar. If you've ever eaten a picnic chocolate bar, that's what I imagine Mia Corvia to be like. Hideous on the outside with her, I'm so tough, I'll kill you, I don't care what you think, we're not in a nursery trick, and inside she's this gooey soft center who just wants to be enjoyed. I can relate to that. Not that I'll admit it to anyone because I'm a tough bitch. I digress. The thing I admire about Mia Corvia is also her ability to keep on keeping on. Which, look, when I think about it, it's a thing I definitely struggle with. I struggle personally to look forward, to look out of the dark times, to look for the light, and considering what this bad bitch goes through, like, she has every reason to give up. She keeps on. On my bad days when I'm laying in bed thinking, what's the point? I think, if Mia Corvia can do this, I can do this. What would Mia Corvia do? She would kill a lot of people. I can't do that. What else can I do? Kick ass. The fact that sometimes her priorities become a little clouded, I vibe that. The fact that she is loyal, I vibe that. Wow, my running theme is just like a loyalty. Except for Delilah. All of Delilah's loyalty is to herself anyway. Another thing I appreciate about Mia is she's the first character that I've seen myself and I guess, I don't know, like my sexual preferences in. Mia Corvia is canon bisexual. In book 1, she has a romance with Trick. In book 2, she has a romance with Ash. I also identify as bisexual. So seeing her in this book go through both of those relationships was something that I really appreciated. And especially in book 1 where it's maybe not completely clear that she has those thoughts or those feelings about Ash, but there are definitely lines in there where she's like, I wonder what it would be like to kiss her, or I wonder what it would be like to be with her. I was like, shit, that's me. So shout out to J. Kristoff for writing me a character that is literally me. The fact that she has a cat and a wolf as her, like, familiars. I'm like, bro, I have a cat and I love wolves. It's me. And at this point, I'm just grasping at straws. But I love everything about Mia Corvia. Yeah, she does some shit that I'm like, oh, girl, toughen up. There's a scene in God's Grave where she's trying to save Maggot and I'm just like, let her go. I want Mia Corvia to go dark in book 3. I don't know if it'll happen. I want another True Dark Massacre, but I want the ultimate True Dark Massacre, where she's just like, fuck everyone and everything. That is something I live for. I love when female characters go dark and then find their way out of it. Oh god, that's so relatable, it hurts to admit. So those were my 5 fictional lady crushes, ultimately. I know I went in with the full intent to talk about, oh, this character is strong and her morals, and ultimately it was just me gushing about how gay I am for them, and that's fine, because I am. The fact of the matter is, I love those 5 female protagonists, mostly for different reasons, but when I think about it all, it's kind of the same thing, which isn't a bad thing, because I have a type. Obviously there are characters that I guess are worth honorable mentions, and they're not necessarily characters that fit into that kind of revenge, assassin, angry, loyal archetype that I am clearly so fond of. But there's other characters who are, you know, they're badass in their own way, whether that's, you know, physical or with powers, or they're smart, which leads me to mention characters like Mustang from the Red Rising trilogy, like Inej and Nina from the Six of Crows duology, like Tess from Tess of the Road. Like, some of those are also characters that, yeah, like aren't gonna come to your rescue and kick ass, and I mean, yeah, they would all actually come to your rescue, but you know what I mean? Some of them are softer when you think about them as a character. They have more heart than rough exterior, and that's another thing that I also really appreciate. If I'm thinking about my type, it's Mia, it's Lila, it's Victoria, it's Nona. When I think about other qualities that I really appreciate in women that we may not see enough of in protagonists, it's like Nina, it's like Inej, it's like Tess. They're not all externally, I'm so tough, I'm gonna kill you, don't fuck with me. They're also occasionally like, I'm Mustang, I'm really smart, and I know that, and I'm gonna use it. And violence and physicality isn't my first, my first instinct. I'm gonna use my brain. Same with Inej, same with Nina. They're like, I'm gonna use my heart, I'm gonna use my head, as opposed to Mia and Lila, who are just like, I'm just gonna kill you, and then I'll think about it. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I am planning to do a top 5 male protagonists, a top 5 secondary characters, and a top 5 villains, as well as also probably like magical companions, magic systems, worlds, just like a general top 5 of all my favorite things. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know who your 5 favorite female protagonists are. I will see you next time. Bye!